Hello everyone and welcome back to my Let's Play of Kirby Superstar Ultra. Now, on the last episode, we went through the gourmet way. Some might call it gourmet. Wait, that joke doesn't make any sense. It sounded better in my mind. And then we also defeated Dynablade, who killed us, or almost did, in about the first 6 seconds of meeting her, which was kinda scary. We took our revenge, though, and now we're going on to the Great Cave Offensive. Now, there's a reason why it's called the Great Cave Offensive, and why the difficulty is 4 stars. Kirby finds himself lost in a deep cave full of peril and treasure. Find all 60 treasures and get out safely. Now, it's the treasure part that makes this difficult. But first we got Kirby in that little hat of his, singing along. He looks so cute in all of his exploring gear. And unfortunately, he doesn't notice the sign or the hole that's next to the sign, which is kind of a big deal because now he's trapped down here. And we kinda don't want that to happen. Look, he hit his head on the way down too. Aw, poor Kirby. So, our goal now is to hopefully get out of here in one piece. Hopefully, anyway. Yeah, we've played before. Well, at least I have. And unfortunately, we can't just float back up this way, so we move on forward. And hopefully won't die, and hopefully we'll get some treasure out of it at the same time. First up, we got Fighter over here, just to get us started off. And we have our first treasure chest, a gold medal worth 10,000 gold. Which is pretty nice, if I do say so myself. Like, 10,000 gold. How much is that even worth? Oh, hello there, secret entrance. You look secretive. Let's go inside. Looks like we got another treasure chest here. We got the gold coin. Now, this gold coin is a koban, which is an ancient Japanese gold coin. And you know the little coin thing that's on the top of the outside? Well, that's a koban, which I find cool anyway. Now, we gotta be careful here because you see this middle bomb? It'll block us off from actually getting to that treasure chest down there. After we hit the bomb here, though, we're fine because, ow, this is not good. We want to keep that fire power up. Bada bing, we did it. Now, once we actually get the chest, we can leave. And we also get the whip, which is... Anyone ever played Castlevania? Well, that's it. Also, by pressing start, you can check and see like what treasures you have. And by touching them, you can see. Now the whip there, you can tell that's from Castlevania because it has a little ball thing on the end, which, well, the Castlevania ones do. Also, after you open that first bomb, then you can just walk through here, and it's fine. No big deal. Especially if I could actually get out of the hole. We move on to the next room. We got a bird power up here, which I would very much like. You know what? As for that, you're not allowed to stay out here. You're going back into my butt. You're going back into my belly. Oh, we got another one. Let's hope. Why do you do these things to me, Knuckle Joe? You really don't need to. In fact, I would prefer if you didn't do that, because it's kind of a pain. Now, these buttons here, they're on a timer. So you gotta be able to get through them pretty quickly. So, luckily, the fighter has a long range with his attacks. If I could move fast enough anyway. I hit the one on the right last because, well, we need to get through there. Like, with enough time to spare. This one is much easier because we can just do that and then mash it. Except not really. This area is much easier with the bird power-up because you can just clap quickly. Ah, almost had it. In fact, I might actually go back and get it. Because the enemy should respawn by now. Though, oh wait a minute, we can just do that, which is a lot faster. And we get our 4th treasure, the Crystal Ball. Now, the Crystal Ball can be a reference to basically any RPG, really. But more particularly, it seems to be like the one in Ys 1, which Ys is a pretty good line of ARPGs, which I played Ultimate Felghana. That's a pretty good one. At least I liked it anyway. hopefully this bird won't get on our way. Get out of here. We don't need you. So now we just gotta go under and up. Hopefully not die in the process. And here we have treasure number 5, I believe, a lucky cat, which is it's basically just a little thing that says like, hey, it's a lucky cat. You know, it's found in many cultures of being like a cat's lucky, cool. It's like a little charm favor, you know. You place it in your house and, you know, you like go around to it sometimes and say like, hey, lucky cat, I need luck today. And it's like, sure, I'll give you luck. Quick note, don't stand on that middle platform, because that is one platform that will break basically instantly once you step on it. So that's a bad thing. And so you have to be very quick with the whole making sure that it doesn't get taken out thing, especially by your partner. And then we have the I can't speak. Seiru sword, which a Seiru is an azure dragon from Chinese mythology. And you can tell because, well, it's kind of blue, which azure color, yeah, that's kind of a thing. And this is a very difficult thing to actually hit, because if we jump, then that happens. So I think we have to get rid of Knuckle Joe for I think we might be able to. Except I swallowed him. That's great. Well, we'll go back there in a second. Except we can't, because we need to get through there. Alright then. We unfortunately have to go back really quick and get up another. Oh wait, no, there's beam there. We should be good. If I could actually, you know, swallow him whole. Probably be easier going this way. Yep. Alright, there we go. We got a beam finally. Might as well open up this way while we're here. And this guy does not want to die for some reason. He just kept on keeping on and was like, oh, you dealt damage to me? Sure, I'll just take it in strides. And here we have the screw attack, which is the thing from Metroid. You know, the thing that, you know, when you jump, you deal lots of damage and stuff. Also, there's a thing here, which we should, you know, go through. And unfortunately, our partner is probably about to go down, which is unfortunate, but oh well. And here we have the Eshigo Candy. Now, the Eshigo Candy is, well, candy. It was typically made in old Japan, currently known as the Niigata Prefecture, which is most known for, actually not the candy, it's most known for ski resorts, national parks, and onsen, or ski resorts. So, it's kind of strange that it would be there instead of, you know, anything else. And, wait, no, we should be able to get it with beam power. Yeah, we're good. And now we have the Phantom Mask, which really is just like, it looks like a nose, so I can speak. It's just a cool little mask. It could have some connection to like dark and night, which I could see that. And now we deal with the boss, the hammer guy, who currently isn't doing anything at all. And unfortunately, I think a treasure dropped in the middle. Oh, nope, good. We are fine on that front. We have some plasma wisps here, but I think I'm just gonna stick with the beam power up for now. Get in the cannon and miss horribly. And again, miss horribly. Look, I'm bad at timing things, alright? Boom, we actually got it that time. And here we have the Star Stone, which is like a little cool Star Stone. Look at it. It's nice and starry and stony and such. You know, the Star Stone. So we're just gonna keep going on through here. Get out of here, Plasma Wisp. We don't need you. And I believe there is actually something down there. I'll check out real quick. Ooh, Myra. I am perfectly fine with that. Even get a while doing the process. There is a treasure, which we are going to let the Gordos jump out, so that way we don't take any damage from it. And now we get the Beast's Fang. Well, yeah, I can't pronounce anything, apparently. It's like a little cool fang, you know? It's sharp, it's dangerous, it's pointy, it's all around probably not a pleasant thing to be around, because, you know, we could get infected by it. I mean, it did belong to a beast at one point, so it could be really dangerous. So we don't want to get anywhere near it. By the way, those little, oh, hello there, cutter guy. We need you. Slice that. To get a little, you know, food. Now, if we could stop getting hit by enemies, we'd be fine. That's a dangerous path to be, you know, doing the thing over. Okay. I was worried there for a second because I thought it would drop into an abyss where we couldn't get it. Which, by the way, we can, any treasure that might, like, fall into a pit, you can get back by just, like, leaving the room and then going back in. But we also have the bandana. Now, this bandana, while it does look similar to the one that Fighter Kirby wears, like, all the time, considering that, you know, that's his, you know, shtick, he's a fighter, to me, it looks more like a focus band from the Pokemon series, you know, with the red coloring. And the shape of it also matches, it's just that it's at a different orientation. I'll put a picture on screen for it. And now we have the Season's Heart. This used to be springtime in the original Kirby Superstar, which, by the way, Superstar Ultra, it's a remake of Kirby Superstar. So, differences between them I'll note when they come up, I guess. And it looks like we're about to fight the boss, so let's just heal up real quick. Am I fine with Cutter? I'm fine with Cutter. Let's go. Ooh, we got some water. Wonder what's gonna show up. It's a fatty whale. Luckily, block just stops any damage it can deal, so that's good. Now, unfortunately, there's hit stun, or there's not hits. Like, you can't just throw a bunch of cutters off to the left and then have them all hit, like, at once, because there's only a certain amount of damage you can deal with each attack to an enemy. Or there's a timer between attacks so you can actually hit enemies with it, which usually isn't a big deal, except on bosses, because, well, they're tanky and such. Unfortunately, SooperMrNinja is probably gonna die, and there's unfortunately nothing we can do about that, but hopefully we don't lose our cutter, which we didn't. However, we can get one back, and then go to stone, and not die there, which is good. And hopefully, Sir Kibble here will be able to take him out before we end up, you know, dying to whatever. For instance, falling rocks. However, I think I can take him out with one rock hit. Yep! With the muscly muscles of the muscle rock log. And also, do you see the gold coin on the subtree icon? Or not the way that the entire thing just turned gold, but the little gold coin next to it. That indicates that you've collected all the treasures from that area. And also, there are no treasures in these in-between sections between, there's nothing in these connecting sections. Only in the big sections. Now we are on to Crystal. How fancy. Actually, I don't know if fancy's the right word there, but whatever. Now, I forgot to say this earlier, but remember that big star door? Yeah, that was actually a save point where you can heal up as well. And we actually missed a treasure back here, I believe. Yes, we did. And unfortunately, we lost our stone power, but that's fine. We got a dime, which is the cheapest item in the entire Great Cave Offensive. Now, this lets us do some calculations. For instance, since it's worth 10 gold, and a dime in our world is worth 10 cents, we can tell that each gold is worth 1 cent in our world. So by that, we can figure out what each thing is actually worth, which is quite nice. So for instance, this glass slipper, which is like, it's a reference to like Cinderella, and you know, like how they had to fit the glass slipper in there, or Cinderella had a glass slipper, whatever. This is worth a surprisingly low $1,200. Not that much for a slipper made entirely out of glass. Well, actually, if it was made out of diamond, then that would be a bit low, but glass actually seems to be quite well, or quite worth it, I guess. So we move on to this next room. There's a bomb guy here who we're going to consume immediately. And that water, really, I really don't like that water, so we got a goblet. That's pretty nice. Worth about $8. Seems quite reasonable. So I don't like that water being there, so we can just go back in and out. And look, it's all gone, just like that. As long as we don't hit that button anyway. Get out of here, you bomb. We don't need you. We don't need you, kind dear. Now, you gotta be very careful, because the treasure's gonna drop, and you gotta be in position to hopefully not miss it like that. Ow. I heard of it. Especially my feelings. Get out of here. Yeah. Now, luckily, we can just go back here. Also, Kibble, you're low. Get the bomb. I'll just absorb this one instead. So you gotta be very in position. Like, I believe you can hit the button with your breath. Yep. Which makes that a lot easier, and we get a saucepan. Tied for being the lowest with the dime. Which I don't know how I don't know how a saucepan is worth like 10 cents, but whatever. It just doesn't fit well with me anyway. And unfortunately, it seems like we need a beam to get through here, because bomb does not get through there. So I'll be right back with a beam power up. Yay. Now, luckily for us, you don't actually need the beam power up. You can just get something like the mirror power up as well, which is at the is in the room right before the last boss room. Brass knuckle, they're pretty common like fist fighting weapons. It's not too big a deal. Because we'll hit this button while we're here and start a current, yay! And not die to that crash. We also get an amber rose. That's some golden colors and such. Which is nice, I guess. I believe this is a room where you can get that. And 2 treasures, nice. We get the beast fossil, and I believe the other is a fish fossil. It is. Now, this is a reference to basically any Pokemon game. Prefer more specifically, red and blue, because, well, there's that one moment where you have to choose between 2 fossils, and they're right next to each other, but luckily we get both of them in Superstar Ultra, so that's nice. And while that did hurt a bit, we also get machine parts, which, by the way, they're parts for the Hydra in Kirby Air Ride. You know, that little, or I wouldn't say little, that pretty cool ship. At least I think it's cool anyway. And if we could go through the door, we could go on to this area. Never mind. This area. There we go. We can fight against the current, but we can't. We're gonna have to probably go around to be able to get that. And hopefully not die in the process. Also, hello there, Mr. This always happens, like, when I find a guy I really want to, you know, just absorb, like, my helper always just finds a way to not let me do that, which sucks a lot, because I really want to absorb them and, you know, heal my helper in the process, but they won't let me do that. Now, while the current may seem very strong here, we can actually break through, and we get a bucket, which is the same one from the Super Famicom game. That's right, the Super Famicom. We're going back that far. As the Super Famicom game bucket, and No, Mario and Wario. I can speak words. Break through there to get a current going. Well, there's a max tomato there. We don't need it right now, and we might have to come back through here at some point. Maybe. There's a possibility of it. Now, you gotta look out for those spikes, and that's just max tomato. Why did I come over here? The helpers are not too bright, and unfortunately, they kind of run into the spikes. Though I do as well, so it's fine. And you gotta be careful when jumping down because you can jump up. Unfortunately, it doesn't end very well for you. Luckily for us, I didn't destroy all of those blocks there, and we get a power paintbrush worth approximately $2,222. That's a pretty expensive paintbrush, and it seems to be the same one used in Kirby Canvas Curse, which is another Kirby DS game. By the way, this is one of the later Kirby DS games, surprisingly. Like, whenever I played it, I always thought it was released in 2006. Boy, it was actually released in 2008. Who'd have known? And I missed the treasure. Ha. So, I'm gonna be honest real quick. I usually die in this area because there are so many Gordos here, which deal, like, a good fifth of your health, and I'm bad at dodging them. Hopefully we don't miss it this time. There's a really weird speed up there at the end, which causes it to be a little weird. A $100 coin. It's worth $100 based on the gold to cent amount, which is pretty cool. I guess $100 in a pocket. Yeah. Spike ooze. They hurt. A lot. And now we got an ancient gem, also known as a Magatama, which were originally decorative jewelry, but as time went on, they eventually became, used for religious ceremonies and such. Religious jewelry and all that. And there should be a treasure right through here. Where we get the Falcon helmet, which I don't think I have to explain that, but I will anyway, just in case. It's the helmet of Captain Falcon. You know, that guy who's in Super Smash Bros. And part of the F-Zero series, that guy. I know, he's not that popular. Now to get on our Wheelie Rider, yeah. Woo-doo. And on we go, while just running over everything. It's like, whenever there's a wheel around, you probably want to grab it because it usually entails that, it's gonna be a pretty good area where you can use it. We have the cell phone from Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, which, in that game, it allows you to just, call all the other Kirbys to you. One, it was multiplayer game, so any other Kirbys that you were allied with, you could get. And two, the AI in that game likes to go off on its own quite a bit, so you kind of want to be able to, get him. And you especially want to get the wheel in this area because it allows you to, hopefully, not die to any of that, because it gives you invincibility. And here we have the Truth Mirror, worth $50,000. Like, I know mirrors can be somewhat expensive, especially if you have the gold frame, which is probably what most of that money went into. But still, like 50 grand on a mirror. That doesn't sit well with me, and we're gonna get Bird here because it's my favorite, and we'll leave the Wheelie Rider as Wheelie. Oh. And now we have one of my favorite bosses in the game. A Slimay appears. Look out. We attack. Takes 30 damage. Ooh. The Slimay is sleeping. We attack again. And we take him out successfully. Good job, Wheelie and me. A puppet appears. We attack. We take out a good fourth of its health. It starts dancing. No. Yeah, like this sequence of bosses isn't very difficult, but just like it's swagger, but nothing happened. Oh, we want that hammer. Unfortunately, we did not get it. Hex. Nothing happens. And we should be able to take it out with this one, and we do. Now, who's left? We got a wizard, or magician, I guess. Now, I'm gonna get on Wheelie because he casts spells, which we really want to block. Because they deal a good amount of damage. Oh, guard spell, that's fine. Because we can just run through you. And the entire reason I got him on Wheelie was that we didn't lose, so that way we didn't lose him. Unfortunately, you know, I kinda need a guard, or, you know, dodge them. We gain experience, but nothing happens. Roundus went up by 4. Let's see these stats in action. Ice Sparkle, I'll actually see a change in Kirby's physique or anything. Alright then. And we've successfully grabbed 29 out of the 60 treasures. And next time on Kirby Superstar Ultra, we're gonna grab the last 31 of them. Thank you all for watching, and I'm still really bad at outros.